Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Melvin. It is the final countdown to 2011. Just 16 hours left of 2010. Final preparations underway at New York's Times Square, where roughly 1 million people are expected to pour into the crossroads of the world to watch that famous ball drop. Thousands of police will also be on hand to keep everyone safe. NBC's Mara Schiavocampo is live in Times Square. NBC Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Richard Engel here to talk about beefed up security efforts here in New York and around the world as well. Mara, let's start with you.
Well, in just a few hours, crowds of people are going to begin streaming into Times Square to secure their spot here to see the ball drop. Now, a lot of planning goes into throwing this massive celebration. With all of the crowds come concerns about security and the potential for a terrorist attack. And this year, Mother Nature threw an added wrench into the complications here, dumping almost 2 feet of snow on this city less than a week before New Year's celebrations. 3, 2, 1. A run-through of the famous ball drop.
Happy New Year!
A test of confetti showers, barricades being put into place. At the crossroads of the world, party planning is underway.
Actually very excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
Almost 1 million people are expected to pack into New York's Times Square to watch the famous ball drop at the stroke of midnight and welcome the new year.
The world is watching, the ball is dropping, and everyone is going to be watching New York City, as they do every year.
But as the excitement grows, so do security concerns. The massive crowds make the New Year's celebrations a potentially attractive target for a terrorist attack. Just this spring, Times Square itself was targeted when a naturalized U.S. citizen tried to detonate a car bomb there. While officials say there is no specific threat against the celebrations this year, they are not taking any chances.
We have a track record of success, but as I say, we're not going to rest on that. We are going to be very much proactive.
Police are implementing a number of security measures, including more than 17 miles of steel barricades to keep revelers in place, entrance point searches, and teams of uniformed officers and canine units. As security measures are being brought in, tons of snow are carted out. This year, city officials have the added task of cleaning up after a monster storm dumped almost 2 feet of snow on the city. Mayor Bloomberg has been widely criticized for bungling preparations, leading to unplowed roads and several storm-related deaths.
Response to the snowstorm was inadequate and unacceptable.
As the sanitation department works to clear out leftover mounds of snow and ice from Times Square, the weather finally seems to be cooperating. Temperatures are expected to hit a relatively balmy 39 degrees, thawing out the city and ensuring 2011 gets a warm welcome. Now, some cities are already celebrating the new year. We're looking at live pictures here of fireworks at the Sydney Harbor as they welcome 2011. Now, in terms of the security concerns here, despite the concerns and the preparations, this is a relatively safe celebration, one of the safest big celebrations in the world. In years past, there have been relatively few problems or arrests. Craig?
Mara Schiavocampo down in the heart of it all. Thank you so much. We'll come back to you a little bit later. Appreciate that report. All across this country, law enforcement out in full force, keeping an eagle eye on New Year's celebrations and other potential terror targets as well. Joined now by NBC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Richard Engel. And we were talking a few moments ago. No credible threats here in New York City. Nothing. Go ahead.
Well, I wouldn't say any specific threats that I've heard of. There's always the general threat. You have a lot of people, hundreds of thousands gathering in one place. New York City, an attractive target for militant groups. They've attacked twice here before. So there's obviously concern, but no specific phone calls were coming tonight. So far, so good.
As Mara just mentioned there, Times Square, the largest public party in this country every year, prime target for a terrorist, but there's never really been any major problems there. What is it that New York City police do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, since 9/11, the New York Police Department has really created a world-class intelligence and counterterrorism organization. The country as a whole is focused on fighting wars in Afghanistan, fighting wars in Pakistan, Yemen, going abroad. NYPD has really internalized its focus and spent a lot of money on infrastructure, on radiation detection equipment, on security cameras, software to use the security cameras, intelligence, and it's created really a world-class system. Let me just give you an example. If you saw in that interview with in Mara's package there was Commissioner Kelly, Police Chief Kelly, Police Commissioner Kelly. He was in a room, and if you notice, there were monitors behind him. That room takes in security camera feeds. But it's much more sophisticated than that. It takes in thousands of security camera feeds. There are about 400 security cameras just in Times Square. And they don't just look around like you would expect a security camera scanning in a basement. They are programmed with algorithms, effectively, to pick out patterns. So if you typed in to the computer and you set up a program, you could say, I want to pick out every person in New York that has been seen by these cameras wearing a red jacket.
Wow.
And they will identify that. If you set an alarm on these computers and say, I want an alarm to go off every time the same vehicle goes around a block 3 times, or you can set it to 4 times or 5 times,
sure,
and it will set an alarm. Obviously, if you set it to 1 time, the alarms will be going off all the time.
Pretty advanced
So you
technology.
determine the threshold. Right. So that's just one of the things.
Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Richard Engel, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Happy New Year to you.
Thanks.